love and energy into the room. Make some noise at your final act of this section. It's Ben Dolman!
People often get kind of excited when I tell them I do fermentation. Because when I take what I produce along to a party and I fill up their cup, they're thinking they're probably going to get a nice home-brewed wine or beer, perhaps. And then they have a sip and they realise that what I brew is soap. But by the time they've had that first sip, the funny thing is, they haven't started swearing until after they've washed out their mouth. But by that time, they're already so angry they're foaming at the mouth. I had plenty more soap jokes where that came from, but they've all just slipped through my fingers. So what do I actually do? Well, I do fermentation. So I use microbes to produce chemicals. And I use the microbes to produce, in this case, surfactants, which what most people know as soap. Nothing to do with surfing, facts, or ants. And a lot of my colleagues also work with microbes. You often hear them, they get very precious about their microbes. They often compare them to their babies. So you hear people say, oh, my little bacillus, my little E. coli. And then sometimes it becomes, oh, fucking bacillus, fucking E. coli. But I do think there are a lot of similarities between babies and microbes. You have to feed them, you have to keep them warm, you have to sing to them. But the one thing you have to realise, even compared to an adult human, microbes just have a hell of a lot more culture. And babies just don't do as well when you try and put them in a test tube and store them in the freezer. So in the category of ultra-high maintenance pet, microbes are definitely doing much better than babies at the moment. But for our microbes, it gets one step better. They literally shit soap. And we can collect that soap, purify it and sell it. It's a hell of a lot more useful than babies would ever be. But I think babies could make a comeback. And I think genetic engineers really need to pull their fingers out. Because if the genetic engineers could make the babies shit soap, then you could just attach little cloths to the babies, feed them, and set them off as little lactose-fueled squishy robot cleaner, and you never have to clean your house again. And you get a couple of brushes, you can go one step further. You can take the brushes to the baby, and you can combine nappy changing and doing the dishes in one fell poop. Did you know the only continent that doesn't have ants is Antarctica? You're probably wondering why I had these silly antennae on my head. Well, I like telling stupid facts about ants. You could say I'm a fact ant. And I'm here on stage not as Ben Dolman, but now I've changed my name to Ben Factant. A lot of PhD students, when they're about to finish their PhD, get really excited because finally they can call themselves a doctor. And that means that they can pretend that they do something useful, like medicine. But I didn't want to go for the doctor title. I wanted to go big. I wanted to get knighted. So then I would go along to my knighting ceremony. I would kneel. And the Queen would have to look me in the eyes and say, "Rise, Sir Factant!" A lot of people, when they start their PhDs, realise pretty soon afterwards that there was actually something else that they were more interested in that they should have been doing. And for me, I realised I was rapping. And my subconscious told me really quickly by the names of the supervisors that I chose. The first one, a distinguished gentleman, Dr. James Winterburn. very quickly, and I don't know how I missed it before. He had to be DJ Winto! So I was there shouting, DJ Winto in the house! But I discovered pretty quickly, DJ Winto neither liked being called DJ Winto, nor agreed that he was in the house. And pretty soon, he washed his hands of me. And I was off to find another supervisor. This time, a brilliant professor, Maria Suarez. But what I didn't realize, it sounds like an innocuous name, but she had a middle name, Katrina. And then, I couldn't help it, but it was MC Suarez, MC Suarez. She didn't like that too much either. And I had to go even further to find a new supervisor, this time to India. And so I went there, and this was when I realized I had a big problem. So I found a serious middle-aged Indian professor called Kanan Pakshirajan. Nothing you can do with that. But still, I turned that into KP Shira, and again I was off. And this time I realized I had no future in research. And I guess you're wondering what happened to all my poor, traumatized supervisors that I'd had during my PhD. And I thought, well, I should probably make amends. So I made some of my best soap, took it along to their houses in a storm. But I didn't knock on their door. I got it out of my pocket and threw it on the roof. You know, it's always good to start with a clean slate. So I thought, if I was going to be a rapper, what should I rap about? And the obvious thing would be soap. So I started listening to some of the truly great soap rappers of our time, like Eminem. And I listened to what his songs like, and then I listened to Cleaning Out Your Closet. And I realized that was just something I'd never be able to follow. So I thought, what else am I passionate about? And I thought, well, animals. Animals could be a good topic. And there's not been many people singing about animals until recently. I listened to Eye of the Tiger, but it's just a clumsy boxing metaphor. But then the last few years, there's been some really brilliant hits. You've had things like, What Did the Fox Say? An instant classic. You've had Baby Shark, brilliant. That's been going on for 20 years. And recently, even now, they've got songs about snakes. Anaconda's made it big. And I reckon if I could make a song like that, that could be the ticket for me to get my knighthood and be surfactant. You're probably thinking, well, what do animals have to do with soap? But what kind of soap do you think a dolphin uses? All-purpose cleaner. And I soon started making animal songs almost every day. And I was singing songs in the lab, and I became the best rapper in the whole lab singing about animals. It looks like the wrap-up isn't happening then.
It is happening. Hey.
What are you doing here, fresh rinse of soaked hair?
I'll tell you what I'm doing here on last minute with this crinkly piece of paper. I am going to challenge you to this awesome wrap-off. Okay, alright, audience, come on, like, we want to do this awesome rap with these complicated words. We want you to clap, 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 gently, clap. So, go. Yeah, I'm a rabbit. I'm just too big fat to have it. Bring it out over here and I'll grab it. It's an undergraduate habit. Get the dance floor, I'm about to grab it.
Yeah, I'm a panda. I don't move too fast, I'm a yonder. You say I'm slow, that's slander. Come with you and have a gander. Yeah, that's a panta.
Oh, I'm going to do better this time. Yeah, I'm a fox. It's a long day winter equinox. What noise comes from my nose box? You might be silver, don't make your fox. I don't drink beer, I'm on detox. I eat small mice, buried in the box. So clear these kids, not like a dead box.
Yeah, I'm a tiger. In the jungle, we're finding the tiger. King of the animals on the elephant survivor. And you might just think he needs a few checks on the tiger, but he's a lion and a tiger make a liger.
Yeah, I'm a noun. I'll love the old, that's my vowel. What's the most fun time? It's a tea time, man. Find me a master two curls up in my vowel. They say I look well. I'm not wearing no style. I'll be rude to you, there's no way I growl.
Yeah, I'm a horse. You say your wife looks like me, it's divorce. I say I'm the remorse. Got my ball is from Tesco, they put me in the sauce. I was used by the Romans, but never by the Norse. I've been surfactant, this has been Fresh Rinse and Soaked Hair. You've really washed us away. Thanks very much.